a story that a friend of mine named David Holt, he was in Thailand, and a little boy told him this story, and he shared this story ever since. And this story, there's a song, and I'm just going to do the story, and when the song comes up, you're going to hear the song and you can sing it with me. A man went out one day to hunt in the forest. And he had his bow and arrow with him, and he was walking around. All of a sudden, he saw this beautiful, beautiful golden bird sitting on top of a tree. And the bird looked down at the man, and the bird began to sing this song. Na, 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 na. So that's your whole part. Let's try that. Na, 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 na. The man said, "Hey, that's a strange song. What are you doing singing that song?" And the bird looked down and sang, na, 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 na. Well, the man, this made the man mad. He said, "You better stop singing that song or I'm going to shoot you and take you back for dinner." And the bird looked down and sang, na, 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 na. So the man took his bow, an arrow, put an arrow in the bow, aimed up, shot at that bird. The bird just went, and sang, na, 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 na. He put another arrow in that bow and aimed at that bird, and the bird just kind of, and sang, na, 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 na. And then he aimed at that bird, pulled that bow back and let go, let that arrow go, and the arrow hit the bird, and that golden bird fell to the ground. He said, "Finally, I've silenced that bird." He took that golden bird, put it in his backpack, started to walk home, and from the backpack he heard, close your mouth now. So this made him mad. He said, "I'm going to chop that bird up. I'm going to put that bird away for good." He went home, he plucked the feathers out of that bird. That bird lay on the chopping block. It was kind of cold. It went. The man said, "Oh, I'm going to get rid of this bird." He chopped the bird up into 100 pieces, put the bird in a pot filled with water, turned the pot on. When the pot started to boil, from inside that pot he heard. This made the man so mad, he took the bird out of that pot, went outside, dug a hole in the ground, put the 100 pieces of that bird inside the hole, buried that bird, and from way deep below the ground he heard. He dug up that bird. He took the 100 pieces of that bird. He put the 100 pieces of that bird inside a box. He tied that box up really tight with string, took that box to the river, threw that box way deep into the river, and the box sang and sang and sang, and there was no sound. He said, "Ha! Finally, I got rid of that bird." Well, a little while later, must have been about 6 months later, two little boys were walking by the river. They saw a box floating on top of the river. And they pulled that box in and they untied the string in that box and they opened the box and out flew 100 golden birds. And they flew up in the trees and they sang, na, 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 na. And a little while later, that man who was a hunter went out into the woods with his bow and his arrows, and he was walking down. All of a sudden, he heard from above him the sound of 100 golden birds singing, na, 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 na. And he said, "Ah, I know who you are. You must be the freedom bird. Because just like freedom cannot be killed, freedom cannot be buried, freedom cannot be kept down, you have risen and you've multiplied and you've grown." And the man left that forest, vowing never to hunt the freedom bird again. And as he left, he heard the sound of those 100 freedom birds singing that song. Na, 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 na. And that's the story of the freedom bird.